And I want to introduce Jenny Paul.
All right, guys, thank you so much for coming. So this workshop is all about 3 steps to building a 6-figure business. And I know that there are so many other things that you could be doing on a Saturday afternoon. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here. But I first wanted to start with the reason why this topic is so important to me. I know it sounds really dry, but the reason why it's so important to me is that I have gone through a journey before I started my business, gone through a journey where I was very confused and very disconnected from the job that I was in. So I started out in corporate law, and I worked for a top-tier law firm in Calgary, and just going through that experience, I knew really early on that it just wasn't for me. I didn't feel aligned with where I was. I didn't feel like I was in control of my schedule. I didn't feel like I could creatively express myself, and there were a lot of side effects to all of that. I was really stressed, I was burnt out, I felt like I wasn't myself anymore. And I had worked really hard to get to that point. Like, that was 8 years of school and a grueling process to get to a job that really felt like it wasn't me. And so, just to give you a few examples, so there was a destination wedding that I wanted to go to on a weekend, and I thought, it's a weekend, that should be fine. I let everybody know, okay, I'm going away on vacation, and when it came down to it, I was the one working in the lobby while everyone else was at the pool. Or there would just be times where I would make plans with friends, and I would have to cancel just last minute because something came up. And those may seem like, things that might not cause stress and burnout, but there were so many other things, and it just kind of all culminated to a point where finally I was sitting at my desk. It was around this time, it was Christmas holidays, everybody else is enjoying their time, and I'm at my desk at 8 p.m. working on something that I didn't like, and a senior associate sent me an email saying, hey, I think you're taking a really long time on your work because you want to be left alone with me when everybody else goes home. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was like, I am done. This is just, there were so many things that had led up to that point, but that was just a sign to me that told me that, this is not the environment for you. You felt it all along. Your body is literally rejecting where you are. Like, maybe it's time to make a change. So at that time, my husband and I, well, this is Matt, who I'm in the back lurking, taking pictures. But so we were set to get married that year. So we just said, what are we doing? We're in jobs that don't fulfill us. We are really not feeling like we are in control of our lives right now. Let's just quit and go backpacking for 6 months and try and figure this out. So that's what we did. We literally left everything behind. We went backpacking for 6 months, and we really tried to just go inward and figure out what it was, what are our core values, how do we want to design our lives, and how can we be really intentional about what we're doing from here on out. So that was sort of the journey that we took. We left for the 6 months, and during that time I had a business idea. I'm going to start an online business, and it's going to be a meditation program for lawyers, which I thought the market needed, but the market did not. So the market responded with radio silence. And the reason for that was maybe it was a great product, but I didn't know exactly how to market it. I didn't know how to reach the people that I needed to reach. And now, building a business that has worked, I actually realized what it was that I was doing wrong. And what had happened was I went out into the marketplace and got super bogged down by tactics and strategies, because that's all you hear about when you're Googling, hey, what do I do in my business? All you hear about is you need to be doing this on Instagram, you need to be on Facebook, you need to be going out and going out really, does it come down to the tactics and strategies? Yes, they're important, but there's so much more that has to go into it from the get-go. And so the goal here today is to give you guys 3 foundational steps to starting your business that will actually give you the foundation that you need to build to a point where you aren't going to be overwhelmed, you aren't going to be stressed. There won't be radio silence in the market because you will know exactly how to reach your ideal clients and how to market your products and services. So my other goal, I have another goal for today, which is to give you guys 2 gifts. So those are coming up, so I'll keep you posted. So first, let's just dive right into step 1. So step 1 is really the foundation of your business. So just like building a house, this is literally pouring the concrete. So when it comes to, I think what makes the difference between business owners that are struggling to business owners that make 6 figures and beyond, it comes down to 2 things, and that's clarity and intention. So first, when it comes to clarity, why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you want to build a business? And what is it that's speaking to your own core values that is going to keep you anchored throughout the process? Because there are definitely going to be highs and lows throughout the process. And as you go through it, what is it that's going to keep you stable throughout it? And so when it comes to your why, is it just that you want to make a lot of money and pay your bills? In my opinion, that's not going to be enough because there are so many other ways that you can do that. You can get a 9 to 5, you can find a job, and that will pay your bills. But when it comes to your business, what else is actually keeping you there, and what's going to allow you to continue through the hard times? So for me, that was very much about, I wanted to work from home, I wanted freedom to set my own schedule, I wanted to do what lit me up, I wanted creative freedom in my work, I wanted to be able to surround myself with amazing people that are also very fired up and want to live very passionate lives. And I wanted to be very intentional about that. So having a very clear goal in mind is key. And I do think that that has been a huge part of why I've made it this far. So that's the clarity piece. And then when it comes to the intention piece, so you have your clear goal in mind, whatever it is that speaks to your core values and why you're doing what you're doing, how can you take intentional steps to get there? Because there are so many things that can take you off the path as you start. Again, you're getting tactics and strategies thrown at you, you get overwhelmed, you get confused. So what ends up happening, so there are 3 mistakes, or not mistakes, but just problems that come up in the entrepreneurial journey. So number 1, overwhelm, because there's so many tactics and strategies getting thrown at you, so you sometimes just don't even start because you don't know where to start. There's just too much. The second problem is that you get burnt out because you try to do all of the tactics and strategies and you don't know exactly how to discern which one you should be starting with, and so it just gets to be too much because you get spread too thin. And the third problem, or I guess thing that could come up, is just feeling like you have to quit because you're not doing the right things. And that's leading to you not being able to have a sustainable income. And then you do have to, go back to something that will provide you with a steady income. So that's why it's so important to have the clarity piece and have the intention behind what you're doing. And when it comes to your intention as well, it's really important to think about your lifestyle considerations because your business you can have a great idea and then start building up your business and realize that it's giving you a lifestyle again that maybe is not in congruence with who you really are and what you really want. So it's really thinking about it from this foundation where we're pouring the concrete. We want to know what is it that is our what life are we trying to create for ourselves so that we're taking intentional steps along the way. And we want to continually ask ourselves, anytime an opportunity comes up, a decision comes up that we have to make, because there are going to be tons of them, we have to decide, is this in alignment with the life that I want to create? And that is such a key question to just keep you intentional all along the way. So that's step one, the foundation. When it comes to step two, we get to your structure. So we're putting up the walls now of the house. So when it comes to your structure, it's made of two things. So the who and the what. What is the problem that you're trying to solve, and who are you helping by solving that problem? Those are two key questions. So as we dive deep into those questions, when it comes to the what, there are a lot of ways that you can build a six-figure business. I choose to build a six-figure business in a way that's not going to lead to burnout and overwhelm and stress. That's a very key part of the journey for me, and I learned that in law. That was something, I can tell that I get stressed out easily. I can burn out really easily. I can develop health problems from that because that's what was happening. And I don't want to live that way, and that's very much part of me being intentional about what I'm trying to create here. So when it comes to what your offering is, you can do it the hard way, which is be part of a market that is competitive, where you're really scrambling to get the attention of your ideal clients. Or you can choose the easier way. It's not the easy way, but it's the easier way, where you're creating a new opportunity for people that not many other people are. And in creating that new opportunity, you're swimming in a bluer ocean versus a red ocean. And so there's a book out there, The Blue Ocean Strategy, which really dives deep into this concept. But for today, if you are creating a new opportunity for people, that is the blue ocean. Your ideal clients are swimming over there. They don't have very many people talking to them or pitching to them, and that's where you want to be. And because that is where you're going to be heard loud and clear, especially if you know how to talk to that market. So for me, after Meditations for Lawyers was a flop, I started a legal recruitment company, and this time I did it right. Learning from everything that I had done wrong in Meditations for Lawyers, I started this recruitment company and I created a blue ocean for myself in the Calgary market. So there are a lot of legal recruitment companies in Calgary, and they are working with a lot of the same firms. They go for the big firms because they have the money, and they take a lawyer that's unhappy at one big firm and just put them at another big firm. And then they're unhappy maybe in 6 months. So they take them from that firm and put them at another firm. But what I was seeing was that there are these small to mid-sized firms, entrepreneurial type firms, which are exactly the types of people that I wanted to work with. They are trying to build their legal practice, and they're also trying to manage a business. Their law firm is a business. But they need recruitment help, clearly, because they can't do it all, but they can't afford to pay the big fees that these larger recruitment companies are asking. So there was a little place for me to create a new opportunity, because I want to work from home. I don't need a big fancy office. I can have low overhead, and in doing that, I can charge lower fees. But I can still provide the same level of service because I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm offering. So the key for me was creating this little niche, this opportunity for myself, and knowing how to talk to these small to mid-sized firms to let them know that, hey, I have the solution to your problem, and this is what we can do. And so speaking to their pain points, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But that for me was creating a blue ocean for myself. And again, like, I do think that that's what has led to me being able to build a 6-figure business in a year. And by year 3, I hit $250,000 because it was just, there was so much momentum and people just really understood what it was that I was offering. So that is the first part of your structure, which is the who. And then it comes down to, with the what. So now it comes down to the who, your ideal clients. And when it comes to your ideal clients, there are generally 2 mistakes that we make. So the first is we hear about ideal clients, but what actually starts happening is we define our ideal clients as a target market. And the problem with the target market is that it's huge. We define it as, let's say we're fitness consultants. We'll define it as women that are between the ages of 25 to 40 that want to lose weight. And that's a huge market. And we don't want to play in that market, right? We want to create a new opportunity. We want to create that niche. And how do we create that niche? We speak to the individual clients that are part of that bigger market. So we have the bigger market, we have the niche, and then we have our sub-niche. And these are the people that we want to target. So as we are trying to figure out who's actually swimming in that little market over there, we have to ask the right questions. We have to ask, what drives them? Who are they? Where do they shop? Yeah, how old are they? What's their gender? Are they married? Do they have children? What are their passions? What lights them up? What are their core values? Like, there's so many questions that we need to ask along the way that allow us to sort of tease out exactly how we can best reach them and how we can solve their problem. Because at the end of the day, everybody is trying to get from one point to another, regardless of what their problem is. If they, again, on the fitness journey, they're getting from, maybe X amount of pounds to X amount of pounds. There's a destination that they're trying to reach, and you can solve a problem in between those 2 points. So your first gift, I did put together a client magnet worksheet, and it's 10 pages, and it goes deep into your ideal client. So it has all the questions. It really describes pain points and getting to their core values. So I'm just going to actually pass around the sign-up sheet, so I can email that to you after the workshop. So as that's going around, I'm just going to take this sip of water. Okay. So the next part of your ideal client and a problem that tends to come up is you get really good at defining who your ideal client is, but don't commit to it. And what I mean by that is you start saying yes to whatever business walks in the door. Because it's money and you're a startup and you're trying to make it happen, so you just say yes. But the problem with that approach is it's a very short-term strategy. And what will end up happening is your clients are the building blocks of your business. They're literally the bricks that make up the walls of that house. So if you start building with the wrong bricks, your house is going to look completely different than what you thought it would. So it's really about, again, going back to being clear on who you're targeting and being very intentional about saying no to the business that doesn't fit within what you're actually looking for. And I know that can be hard, but it really is about being intentional now so that in the long term, you're building exactly what it is that you want to be building. So then that brings us down to step 3. So when it comes to step 3, we're finally at the how. We're finally at the tactics and the strategies. But this is where a lot of entrepreneurs start. So hopefully you can see by now how much work we've actually put in along the way so that we know which tactics and strategies to use and we know how to make these key decisions. So this is why a lot of entrepreneurs run into trouble is they start with the how, they start with the tactics, they start with the strategies, they get lost and they get confused, or they start doing the wrong things because they don't know who they're talking to and they don't know how to communicate that message. So when it comes to building your foundation, building the walls, knowing your who, knowing your what, all of that gets filtered into your marketing messages. So on the worksheet as well, there's a checklist at the back with just a bunch of different ideas as to how you can use this information about your ideal clients, about the who, about the what, everything, and funnel that all into your day-to-day aspects of your business. So just for a few examples of what's on that list. So getting your brand story down to a 90-second or less sort of elevator pitch that whenever anybody asks you about your business, that's your go-to brand story. And it captures everything that you've been working on along the way, including why you are doing this in the first place, the problem that you're solving, and who you're talking to, what their pain points are. And so a very important part of like your marketing message, it really is discovering what your ideal client's pain points are. And I think of it like an onion, and that's also in the worksheet. But on the outside of the onion are their pain points, the problems that you're trying to solve for them. And as we peel away the layers, we get to their goals, which is their goals in life. What do they actually want to accomplish, and why has that become a pain point for them? And as we continue to peel away, we get to the core, which is their core values. And their core values, that's actually where they're making a lot of their buying decisions from. They may not realize it, and a lot of people, as they're marketing, don't realize it, but that's actually where they make a lot of their decisions. And some of the times, it's on a subconscious level. So as we go through the worksheet, we figure out all of the details, we get to the core of what our ideal client's core values are, and we know exactly how to weave that into our marketing message. So that's part of the brand story. And then creating lead generating content, because a lot of the time we know we need to be on social media. We know that our clients are on social media and we can reach them there. And we can create really great content, and we can put out a lot of value that speaks to all of the things that we've been talking about. But it is about creating lead generating content, not just going on social media for the fact of going on social media, because it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes energy. So you want to make sure that the content that you're putting out there is actually speaking to their core values, resonating with them deeply, so that they know that you understand them and that you can solve their problems. And then it also helps us engage with them. So knowing where they hang out, where on social media they hang out, how to talk to them, which hashtags are they using, so that we're actually showing up in their feeds. Like, there's so many little things, but we can figure out how to actually engage with them and get to know them, which is really important in business nowadays, is really creating that social connection. Another thing that you can do is create a high-value freebie. Just like this worksheet that I've given you, it's packed with content, it's packed with value, it's stuff that you can actually put into action in your business, but it also lets you know as you go through it that I know what your pain points are and that I'm addressing them. And as you put together this value for them, you're creating a relationship, and they see that you're here to actually help them, and they get just a little taste of how you can do that. So creating your high-value freebies. It also can help you then later on identify the products and services that you actually might want to provide. And if you have a product or service not now, then maybe it can help you create future products and services. Or if you don't know where to even begin, this is the process that you want to go through to figure out exactly what your offer should be, what your current products and services should be, and what you might want to provide in the future. Because as you start engaging with your ideal clients, they will tell you, and they will let you know what their pain points are. As you start getting to know them on an individual level, and this is why it's so important to find that niche and find those individual ideal clients and really define them like down to a T. So to the point where you have like an avatar that you've named. This is Julia, my ideal client. I know everything about her. And as we engage with people that are like her, we start to learn about her pain points. We start to learn about what it is that she wants, what is she looking for that I haven't thought of. Because a lot of it also comes down to the fact that you can think you have it all right. You can put together a massive business plan, but as soon as it hits the market and your ideal clients actually interact with you, you realize that you have to pivot. So embrace the pivot and embrace that this is actually a flexible sort of road. You can't just put it out there and just wait and hope that people are going to buy. That's what I did with Meditations for Lawyers. I literally thought I had a great idea, put together all this branding, put it up on a website, and I was like, I'm live. I'm That did not happen at all. So it's really not about the post and wait method. It's about interaction, and it's about being flexible and dynamic. And then it comes down to optimizing your online presence. So that's one of the things that's on the checklist as well. Is, knowing how to optimize your bio on your Instagram so that when people come across it, when your ideal client comes across one of your posts, what's actually going to compel them to follow? Yeah, it might be your content, but it also, a large part of it has to do what's in your bio. So that's just one example of optimizing your online presence. Also with your website. How can you make sure that your website is flowing in a way that causes people to stay on your website and not just kind of click away? And there are so many little things that go into all of this. And again, this is where it comes down to the tactics and strategies. But you can see how if you're learning about those minute kinds of details, it can get super overwhelming if you haven't prepared yourself with a solid foundation. So this brings me to my other gift for you. So I have a 4-week online coaching program that is starting in January. It's starting January 2nd. The registration link goes live on Monday. And it is like a 4-week course. It goes into the details of every step that we've spoken about. It goes into the details. It goes into the details of these tactics and strategies and helping you regardless of what your level of business is, if you've started or not. It really is the place to start or course correct. And I want to give that to you guys for free, and it's lifetime access, and it's really just because Jamila is amazing, and she has put together such a beautiful market, and I definitely support bringing together female entrepreneurs and supporting this community. So if you're interested, once I send you the worksheet in the email, just reply back to that, let me know that you're in, but let me know today because the public link goes live on Monday, and that one will not be free. So the other way is if you haven't signed up for the worksheet, just shoot me an email. My email is hello@livelongandhustle.com. And again, my name is Jenny, and just let me know that you're in. So I'll just put you into the course. You'll get access to the 4-week course, all the content, any updates that I do, and there will definitely be updates as I go along. You'll get access to the members-only Facebook group, so there will be a sense of community and accountability for all of us. There's a bonus, which is up-leveling your Instagram stories. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and I'll also be doing weekly lives, so live Q&A. So as questions come up as we're going through the material, we'll be live every week doing a Q&A, so there'll be that as well. So make sure you sign up. I would love to get to know each and every one of you. It would be amazing. But I'm going to open up to Q&A now. So if anybody has any questions, let me know.
Wait, before we go to Q&A, can we give her an amazing round of applause? Okay, do we have any questions from the audience? I know we have a few, so I'm going to wait a couple seconds until the first brave one puts up their hand. What about you in the back? Do you have any questions? Yeah? Yeah, awesome. Hold on.
Hi. I don't know the late, so I missed the first part on foundation. So hopefully you can cover that part. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. So you talked a little bit about really building your brand online and finding out where your clients are online and connecting them online. Do you focus all of your efforts online? Or should you find ways to meet with them out and about in public and connect with them as well?
Yeah, so again, I think this comes down to knowing your ideal clients and where they hang out. So that's why these questions are so key. Because when you have questions like this, you can go back to that ideal client profile and it will answer these questions for you. So for me, when it comes to the legal recruitment, I did nothing online. I didn't do social media. And I built it to $250,000 in revenue on emails. I literally would find the people I wanted to target, and I crafted an email that spoke exactly to what they were looking for, their pain points, what they didn't know they were looking for, really. I was like, hey, and I got meetings, and so I met them in person and I sold my services in person. So that was a key part of that, and that had nothing to do with social media. And when it comes to live long and hustle and building my business coaching and my online brand, then yeah, definitely it's been all online because I know where my ideal clients hang out, and most of them are hanging out on Instagram and Facebook. So that's where I hang out. And it's amazing to come out to things like this and to meet people, but really for me, that's background research. That's me getting to know people and being able to see them and speak to them and learn about who they are and really test the market. So this online coaching program, for example, that I put out is after a year of being on Instagram and getting to know people and doing one-on-one coaching sessions with people and just gathering information. And that's how I've been able to put together something that I feel speaks to exactly what they're looking for. So I think it really comes down to what you're doing and who your ideal client is and the problem that you're trying to solve for them. And I think it is sort of a flexible thing. And I think also it does speak to when we go online and we search for information, they're telling us to do everything, do all the things, go to all the events. Are you going to this event? Especially when you're hanging out with other entrepreneurs. Are you going to this event? Are you going to this event? You're like, oh, no, I'm not. You know? And you feel this pressure and you feel frustrated because you don't have time to do everything because you're trying to build a business over here, you know? So, yeah, it's really, again, and maybe you missed that part, just being clear about where you're going, where you're headed, and being very intentional about what you do along the way, and just don't do all the things. If there's one thing to walk away with today, is do not do all the things. Do the right things, and you'll know how to do the right things by doing this background work.
Other questions? I know there's some. I'm going to give it like a couple seconds because I know somebody has a question. Don't be scared. Everybody here is really nice. Awesome.
Jenny, can you talk to us about some of your rituals to set your mindset up for doing the right things?
So one thing that I haven't actually made it a ritual, but it is a practice for me, is meditation. And I do think that that has carried me really far in the clarity piece. Because I think our minds can get so bogged down with the details, but whenever I sit down and I can be still and I can be clear, it's sort of like the water is always turning. And as soon as I sit down for stillness, I can actually see what's underneath, you know, and I can actually sort things out. Whereas when my mind is busy all the time, and as an entrepreneur, there's so many things that you're thinking about on a daily basis. Especially if you're trying to grow a team, or you have people that you have to answer to, your clients are always emailing you, whatever it is, it can really, that monkey mind, it can get out of control, right? It's just like chattering all the time. And so for me, I think meditation has been huge in just cultivating it as a practice. And I haven't made it a ritual, so it's not something that I get up and I sit down to meditate right away. That's my goal for sure. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes I get up and right away like, I hit my emails, and I know that's the worst thing for me to do, but sometimes that's just what happens. And so for me, it's an evolving process for sure. But when I know that when I actually do sit down and do it, it just does me a world of good. So I'd say that for sure. And then I'd also say just surrounding myself with beautiful people like you. Andrea is actually part of our local mastermind, Thrive YYC. And yeah, just being part of a group of with other people that inspire me. So we meet up once a month, and it is so great because we just sit there and we can vent about what's going on. We can help each other with our problems. But most importantly, it shows us that there are other people that are going through exactly what we're going through. And I think it can be hard. I know when I was starting my business, it was really difficult because I was surrounded with a lot of people that were doing the corporate job thing. Calgary is a very corporate job type of place. It's a great place to get a job, raise a family, do all of that sort of stuff. When you're not necessarily going with the grain, you can feel really lonely and isolated and frustrated and sad, and there are a lot of things that come up. It's not easy. So just having people to go to as a support, I think, has been huge, just to remind me that, hey, other people are in this boat with me, I'm not alone, and we can do it together.
Jen, you've had a lot of success with your legal recruiting company and now with Live Long and Hustle. It's awesome and you've been in such a short amount of time. What would you say are your best strategies for time management that helped you get, because I feel like a lot of us struggle with
that. I think I'm terrible at time management, just to put it out there. Definitely an evolving process for me as well. But I do think that one key part of it for me has been saying no to things that aren't in alignment with where I'm trying to go. So again, going back to that fundamental question, anytime something comes up, small, big, whatever it is this in alignment with the life that I'm trying to create? Because there are a lot of personal obligations and professional obligations, your business obligations that come up, opportunities that come up that seem really shiny and you're like, oh, what's that? But if you can go back to that question of, is this actually in alignment with what I'm trying to create? I think that helps you kind of cut the fat and stop doing the things that you're wasting time on. So maybe it's not so much about time management, but just about being intentional about my time, I think has been huge. And it is really hard to say no to a lot of things. There are like things that come up and people are going to parties and people are having dinners and they're doing things, but you know that maybe you should be working on your business or you have something that you want to get done, you have a goal in mind. And just being able to have the long-term vision and stick to it and just know when you need to say no. And it's also part of our Thrive IYC Master Letter. We have it at her house every single month, so thank you for posting.
Do you have any other questions? I have a question. What would you say is, I know obviously you have your own business partner, but what would you say like on Instagram is the things that has brought the most success?
Great question. So on Instagram, I do think that having a cohesive feed has actually been huge. I don't know exactly what has caused it to grow in the way it has, but I know what I've tried to do, and I use apps to help me sort of plan out my feed, and I do think that helps when it comes down to your ideal client coming across your profile. If they come across your profile and your profile has high quality pictures, great content, you're adding value, and it's a cohesive feed so things just don't look kind of scattered and all over the place, they're more likely to follow because it looks professional, put together, and it's visually appealing. And Instagram is a visual platform. So the more that we can make it more visually appealing, it just makes sense. The other part of it is optimizing your bio. So there are, using, because you only have a limited amount of characters. When people come across it, do they know, again, coming down to pain points, are you speaking to their pain points in their profile or in your profile? out. If you are, then they're going to follow because they know that you can help them in whatever it is that they're looking for. So yeah, again, really knowing who you're targeting and why, and being able to get that across in your content, yes, but very importantly in your bio. So I think that those have been important, but also actually maybe the biggest part of it has been engaging with people. And so knowing which hashtags my ideal clients are using, and then I'll go to that hashtag and I'll go and start looking at their content, I'll start chatting with them, I will actually get social. And I think also it is a big part of social media. Again, staying away from the whole post and wait method, like I did for Meditations for Lawyers. I wasn't interacting with anybody. I was like, here's my Facebook page, everyone, it's great, and that was kind of it. And that got me nowhere really fast. So really engaging with people, getting on those hashtags, knowing what they're using, and also not, I think, using, I guess engaging with the hashtags that I think are interesting, because I'm not my ideal client. And I think that we really fall into that rut with so many aspects of our business, like the Meditations for Lawyers thing. I was speaking to myself. I wasn't trying to understand my market. I just thought this is something I would have needed when I was in law. So let me put out something that solves my problem. But really knowing who they are, what are the hashtags that they're using, what kind of content are they interested in, and giving them more of that. And really looking at your analytics. Because if there's a post that does really well, why did it do well? And kind of dissecting that. What did people love about it? Were they commenting a lot? Were they tagging people? Just trying to figure out what it is that actually made that post engaging for your ideal clients and giving them more of what they want. Again, being dynamic and flexible, speaking to what it is that they actually need instead of what you feel inspired to post about at that moment. And it does, I think, come down to, again, being very intentional because you don't have time to waste. And Instagram takes up a lot of time. So don't post things when you just feel inspired to share something. You can, if you have the time. But if you want to, if it is about being intentional and growing a business on Instagram, and you have limited time, then it is about being very intentional about what you're posting and speaking to what your market actually wants to hear.
Oh, we got another one.
Hello?
So for lack of a better word, since neither Facebook or Instagram is easy to market, do you find that there is one that's a little easier than the other?
So two things. I think where are your ideal clients? Again, always go back to that. Where are they? Because they both take the same amount, I think, of time and effort, or can take the same amount of time and effort. But what's actually going to be effective? And then I think the other part of it is what comes easier to you? Because one will be easier than the other. If you don't like taking pictures, then that's going to be really hard because you're going to have to post consistently. I do think, going back to the Instagram question, a large part of my success on Instagram has been posting consistently. I'm showing up all the time. I'm showing up almost every day. Not saying that's what you have to do, but you have to have some sort of consistency so people know that you're around. You know, I'll say, and it's nothing personal, they will forget about you. You know, you could be the hottest thing on the planet, people will forget about you until they get reminded. So being consistent, showing up on their feeds would take you taking a lot of pictures or posting a lot of pictures. So if that's something that you'd like to do, awesome. If that comes easy to you, that's really great. Facebook, on the other hand, is a very different type of engagement that you're doing with people. And so if that comes easier to you, then I would do that. So especially when you're starting out, you want to do what comes easier because you want it to flow as much as you can. Instead of kind of going against your own grain, because then you're just going to burn yourself out.
Do we have any more? I can probably take one. Awesome. Last question of the day.
I was just wondering if you use LinkedIn at all or have any thoughts around that?
Regarding do you use LinkedIn and what your thoughts were on that?
Yeah, so I do think it depends on your business, but for the legal recruitment business, I pretty much built my business using in-mails on LinkedIn. So being able to email people through LinkedIn through their email. So I got a premium account, which is like $100 a month or something. I don't think different plans now, but it allows you to in-mail people, which goes directly to their email. So that for me was huge because I was trying to get into the inboxes of all these lawyers, and that was amazing. So that literally helped me build my business. When it comes to other sides of business, I think LinkedIn is a hugely untapped market because videos that people post easily reach thousands of people on LinkedIn, whereas on Instagram you might just reach a few hundred people. Because people aren't used to seeing that type of content on LinkedIn. So especially if you're doing video content or can do video content, I think that that's huge on LinkedIn. People are browsing it and it very unexpectedly shows up and they more likely will click it. So I think that LinkedIn can be a really great place to go. It's just I think that it intimidates a lot of people because it is the professional place to go. So people want to be really professional on it, and I get that. But yeah, there was actually a client that I was working with. So she's a business coach. She's trying to grow her business coaching online, and she started using LinkedIn where she had only been using Facebook and Instagram at that point. And so she just posted she had spent, hours trying to get it right, get it professional, retaking it, redoing it. And then finally she was just like, I'm just gonna post it. Just take it and just post it. And she did it. It was a very Instagram type of post, like vertical form, kind of like moving around, not professional at all. And she got thousands of views, like the most that she's ever posted across any platform. And that's just because of the receptivity that LinkedIn has to that type of content. So I think that LinkedIn can be huge if you're willing to do video content, which again, not a lot of people are. So even if you're doing video anywhere, I think that that's great, but especially